Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome all our guests and greet all the participants of the forum. I'd like to start with gratitude to Nizami Gencevi International Center, its co-chairs, Madam Vicky Freiberger and Mr. Serageldin, members of board and all the team of NGIS for outstanding work they demonstrate throughout the years of activity. Nizami Gencevi International Center today is one of the leading international institutions which addresses a broad range of issues and with a very high international reputation. And I follow closely the activity of the center throughout the year, from one global forum to another global forum, and see that the scope of activity is growing, interaction is very active, and contribution to the elaboration of the new approaches to the changing international situation is really something which deserves big credit. As far as Global Baku Forum is concerned, it's a very prominent international gathering. I would say stands in line with the main international fora on global scale with respect to the experience of the participants, presidents, prime ministers, speakers of parliament, prominent public figures, diplomats, representatives of business community, civil society, different specters of our life gathered together in order to exchange views, exchange experience, and as I already said, put forward ideas how to make life of the peoples better and more protected and more secure. The agenda of this year's forum is very broad. It covers many issues. But definitely, I'm sure that during the discussions, the accent will be made on the current situation in our region, in the world. I think that now it is more obvious than ever before that issues of security and stability and safety should be number one on the agenda of any country. Because without that, all the rest is absolutely useless. In countries which invested for years, for decades in their development now face risks. Therefore, security and stability should be main factor where we should unite our efforts. Regional security for Azerbaijan always was issue number one because, as I spoke at many fora here in Baku, during the times of occupation, for us, peace and restoration of our sovereignty always was top issue on our agenda. Fortunately, we are now living in peace, actually, for only 7 months. And this demonstrates once again that you just need to demonstrate strong political will, courage, and commitment to the cause of peace and justice in order to achieve it. In our case, it took many years, almost 30 years, before we restored our sovereignty and territorial integrity. We did it in line with UN Charter, with Article 51, right for self-defense. We liberated occupied territories by force and achieved peace by political means. So we have experience, I would say a unique experience now on global scale, of being occupied with million people subject to ethnic cleansing. Almost 20% of the territory was occupied for almost 30 years. We've been suffering from lack of international attention and selectiveness of some international actors which were supposed to deal with the conflict. We were facing a situation when the United Nations Security Council's resolutions, which demanded withdrawal of Armenian troops from our territories, were remaining on paper for almost 30 years. So this is experience, but this is a bad experience. Then we had experience of liberating our territory by force during the 44 days liberation war of 2020. And that also, I think, is important indicator that when you lose any hope for peaceful settlement, and when truth and justice is on your side, international law is on your side, you have to use force in order to achieve peace. And this is what happened. We achieved peace with Armenia by force, and then by political means. So this is also a unique experience in the recent history. When I say recent, I mean decades, that a country itself by force restored its sovereignty and territorial integrity. And the third experience is experience of peace, how to achieve peace. And this is not easy. And we see that protracted conflicts continue, new hotspots emerge on global map. And in our case, in case of peace between Azerbaijan and Armenia, it's also a unique situation when the time from the last bloody clash in September 2023 to peace in August 2025 took less than 2 years. I think it's unprecedented speed of normalization, and that was possible because of strong political will and because of understanding that they cannot be eternal hostility, and the war should end. And that was a choice made by two countries, and now we are, as I said, live in peace for 7 months, and we see the advantages of that. I said many times, and I will not stop repeating it, that there's nothing better than peace. And what is happening now in the world, I think these hotspots emerging, existing, protracted conflicts, this is a threat to the international behavior structure. It's a threat to international law. When international law norms are not respected, and territorial integrity of countries is being violated, and when resolutions of international organizations are ignored. So this unique experience of the country, which suffered occupation, ethnic cleansing, genocide, restored its sovereignty, territorial integrity, and dignity by force, and then offered peace to a defeated then enemy, this, I think, is something which we can share with the international community. As I also many times said, we achieved peace with Armenia not only on the paper, though peace deal was initialed and we adopted joint declaration 7 months ago, but we have peace on the ground. We have quiet situation on our border, no more shootings, no more victims, no more casualties. We lifted all the restrictions to transport goods to Armenia from different destinations. We even started trade with Armenia. We started to export critical for them oil products, and thus demonstrating that we are committed to peace, not long-lasting, but peace forever. And this is our strategy and our policy, and once again demonstrates that Azerbaijan is a peaceful country. And those who were accusing us during the Second Karabakh War and then anti-terror operation, they were either short-sighted or they were biased, because what we've done was in line with international law, and we used force to achieve peace. And today we demonstrate it. So sometimes you have to do it, and especially when you are absolutely sure that you are right, you have to ignore those who oppose you, those who want to damage your interests. And also one thing which I think we can share with those who are at war. We achieved peace with Armenia when we insisted, I mean Azerbaijan, and achieved that there'll be no mediators. 28 years of so-called Minsk group mediation was a disaster. The goal of the co-chairs was to freeze the conflict, to keep it forever, and to use it as a leverage on both countries. So we decided that we need to get rid of this mediation, so-called. And as soon as we started to engage in bilateral without any third party, we achieved peace. So this is experience, and this is not just a theory. This is what we lived through and what we see now. Therefore, I think this issue definitely will be taken into account while trying to handle existing conflicts. Another important issue which we also can share our experience, especially now, is energy security, which is now to a certain degree disrupted. We see that the unprecedented rise of the oil and gas prices creates a lot of problems for consumers, and not only for consumers. If somebody thinks that this unbalanced price is good for those who produce and export oil, it's wrong, because many countries which produce and export oil and fossil fuels, they have sovereign wealth funds, and these sovereign wealth funds invest in different instruments, in treasuries, and when the stock market collapses, the countries lose more on stock markets than earns more from the high oil price. Therefore, we as a responsible member of OPEC Plus format, we are in favor of the balanced and predictable oil price, and our efforts in OPEC Plus as a mediator, as a country which invested a lot in finding a common solution is highly appreciated. So today, energy security is more than ever before integral part of national security of the countries. Azerbaijan is producing and exporting all types of energy segments: oil, gas, oil products, petrochemicals, electricity. And we are planning to increase our export, especially export of natural gas and electricity, due to the demand on the market and due to our expanded geography of supplies. When we met last time, exactly a year ago, at that time our clients, the countries which were receiving our gas, their number was 12. In 1 year, the number grew to 16. And all of them receive gas from Azerbaijan by pipelines. So as an exporter of natural gas by pipelines, with respect to the geographical coverage of the countries, Azerbaijan is #1 in the world. And the volume of export is growing and will grow. And this is an important factor for energy security for many countries. And now also, as a reliable supply of oil to the international market, Azerbaijan will continue to make contribution to energy security. And the third topic which I wanted also to cover today, also based on the existing challenges, is connectivity. We see that conflicts lead to disruption of traditional transportation routes. Creates enormous difficulties to people and to countries, to economies, to supply chains. And when connectivity and transportation routes are disrupted, most of the members of international community find themselves in a very difficult situation. So here in Azerbaijan, we largely invested the revenues which we received from sales of fossil fuel into transportation and logistics infrastructure. And today we are an indispensable partner with respect to the east-west and north-south corridors. And actually the only one which is actively participating and investing in both, in Middle Corridor and Northwest Corridor. And both corridors on Azerbaijani territory are the projects of construction fully completed. What we are doing now, we are just investing additional funds in order to expand the capacity of existing corridors, because the demand to go through Azerbaijan is growing. And we provide a critical transit for many countries to the east and to the west of Azerbaijan. Now we are working closely after peace with Armenia on a new extension of the Middle Corridor, which will go through the territory of Armenia, and Armenia for the first time in its independent history will also be a transit country, which today it is not. And this will allow us to connect two parts of Azerbaijan, the mainland and our exclave, Nakhchivan Autonomous Republic, with a sustainable transportation link, energy link, fiber optic link, electric cables, and potentially pipelines. So for us, it's a kind of a win-win situation, for all of us, I mean, for those who really want to use this new opportunity, because we will connect two parts of Azerbaijan with transportation infrastructure, and we will create a new extension, as I said, of the new corridors, which will be to the benefit of many countries. Don't want to take much of your time. I think here I should conclude my remarks, just touching upon those issues where we have experience, as I said, and those which today are on international agenda topics number one. And the last point, coming back to our cooperation with Nizami Gencevi International Center, like once again to congratulate them and to express gratitude with their contribution to successful COP29. NGIS hosted more than a dozen of panel discussions and participated in even more, and actively participated and contributed to the success of COP29. This year, we will host another important global international event, World Urban Forum, and I invite the board and all the team of NGIS to actively participate at the forum, and I hope to see you in a couple of months in Baku to continue our discussions and to try to contribute to the common cause of peace, stability, and security in the world. Thank you for your attention.